Now on CoastTV News.
Smoky skies are possible once again today due to the New Jersey wildfires. Dry and pleasant the rest of the week with rain for a part of the weekend. I'll track the smoke and the rain on futurecasts coming up next.
Wildfire wreckage. The effects of the fire reached the Delaware coast while crews in New Jersey are working to get it under control.
Home for shows, we look at two coastal cities considering plans for one local theater.
Development decision.
If you think traffic's bad here, go to New York or Washington or Los Angeles.
What is next for the Overfall Preserve development in Lewis?
This is CoastTV News Today.
And we are in our 6 o'clock hour. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
And good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. It is Thursday, April 24th, 2025.
Yeah, we were talking about these wildfires. We've been talking about them all morning. Yesterday, you could smell that smoke outside our studio.
Yeah, walking out of work yesterday afternoon, the smell, it reminded me of those Canadian wildfires a couple of years ago.
That,
obviously
right.
Not as severe, but still a scary scene in New Jersey. And First Alert meteorologist Bob Trahey is going to join us. Bob, I think everyone's concerned how that smoke is now blowing into parts of Delaware.
Yeah, it definitely had that, the sky had that orange tint to it yesterday, and definitely saw and smelled that smoke as well yesterday too in parts of Delmarva, and that'll be the case again, especially this morning. We'll take a look at that map in just a moment, but do want to start with the cool temperatures. It's down at 41 in Salisbury, 43 in Millsboro. It is a chilly morning. Redden 42, 45 in Seaford, Ocean Pines 42, 40s and 50s at the beaches, even Bethany Beach right now at 47, as the winds are calm under high pressure. So we're looking at clear, calm, and chilly conditions. Some high clouds building in from the west, and with that high right over the top of us, kind of stagnant out there too, with the air quality not so good, especially with that smoke around. And you can see that smoke through Salisbury, a good chunk of Delmarva through this morning. Here's 8:30, Salisbury back through the eastern shore, seeing the bulk of the haze and smoke. So if you suffer from health problems, it's best to stay inside in filtered air. Eastern shore to around the Dover area by 2 p.m. is in the thickest of the smoke, and then a southeast breeze, I think, will start to mix that out. Here's your ferry riding forecast. Of course, you're heading closer to the fire, heading up to Cape May, so definitely smoky on that ferry ride up to that area. Calm winds this morning, temperatures in the 40s and 50s, 60s later this morning, and then with the southeast wind, I think the air quality will improve from here to southern parts of New Jersey.
Thank you, Bob. And our top story this half hour, it's what we've been talking about, those wildfires in New Jersey. Yesterday, if you were in the Lewis area, as we mentioned, you could see that haze. You could smell the smoke from those fires on the other side of the Delaware Bay. Right now, New Jersey crews continue to battle the wildfire burning in Ocean County. The Jones Road fire sparked shortly before 12:30 p.m. on Tuesday. That was at the Greenwood Forest Wildlife Management Area. So far, one commercial structure has been destroyed, along with a number of smaller cabin vehicles. Crews say weather could be a factor in putting out the blaze.
Really dry right now, droughty. We're still in a drought, so fuels are dry. We're at the peak fire season here. April 20th is right at peak.
Officials say no injuries have been reported and evacuations are 100% lifted. The cause of the fire has yet been determined.
New this morning in Lewis, we should learn more about the plans to bring Clear Space Theater into the city. There has been interest on both sides ever since the Rehoboth Beach Base Theater withdrew a request to build a new facility on Rehoboth Avenue after backlash from some neighbors. Lewis Mayor Andrew Williams and the City Council are scheduled to go over a market study on bringing that theater to Lewis.
And we're still awaiting the next steps in Rehoboth Beach's plans for Clear Space. Last month, officials revealed attempts to keep the theater in that city. It calls for construction of a performing arts center on Christian Street with a $1 million contribution coming from Rehoboth Beach. A plot of land is currently leased to the Cape Henlopen Senior Center.
This just in, possible action on development plans for this plot of land you see on your screen right now in Lewis. You're looking at the location of the proposed Overfall Preserve site off of Savannah Road. The mayor and city council could take action on that proposal at a special meeting this morning. CoastTV went to Lewis to learn how people in the area feel about this proposal, and there we heard mixed opinions about the plan.
Let the growth happen, but be relaxed about it. And if you think traffic's bad here, go to New York or Washington or Los Angeles. It's not that bad here.
This is a victim of its own success in that real estate is appreciating very much, which then causes people to say, oh, I want to build here, or I want to build a house here because it will naturally appreciate. The fact of the matter is you can go many places.
We reached out to the developer of the project but did not hear back, and that council meeting is today at 10 a.m.
In Ocean City tonight, the attempt to overturn the application denial for a marijuana dispensary. A public hearing is set by the Board of Zoning Appeals. Last month, a request for a shop on Philadelphia Avenue was turned down by the town's Planning and Zoning Commission, in part, they say, due to proximity to residential zones. The property's leaseholder, Mike Ramadan, and holder of the dispensary license, Sharif Shada, they're disputing how the zoning was interpreted by the commission.
New this morning in Delaware, Governor Matt Meyer is giving out support for small businesses. According to the Division of Small Business, the state is relaunching the Small Business Credit Initiative. This program makes loans and direct investments more easily available to small business owners. The move comes as Delaware needs to spend about $14 million by the end of the year to reach its next allocation of federal funding.
Happening tonight, it is the first round of the NFL draft, and here you see the prep work that occurred this week at the site of the draft, Green Bay, Wisconsin. The Ravens picked 27th, Washington 28th, and the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles had the final pick in the first round at 32. The Tennessee Titans had the very first selection, which should occur shortly after 8 p.m.
New overnight, Delaware Attorney General Kathy Jennings is joining 11 other attorney generals in a lawsuit against the Trump administration. This is over what they say are illegal tariffs. Now it's important to note that Maryland nor Virginia has joined that lawsuit. According to Jennings' office, in 2024, Delaware imported over $10 billion worth of goods and exported almost $5 billion worth. Local companies such as Mount Air have already felt the impacts of these tariffs.
Now getting a live look at Washington, D.C. Tariffs have generated plenty of reaction at the White House. Trump administration is preparing for its response, and the president claims he has a right to impose tariffs unilaterally when fentanyl and border security are involved. He also argues trade deficits are a threat to national security. As
Amy Kiley shows us, the states filing the lawsuit, including Delaware, may not agree.
The president has absolutely no legal authority to issue these tariffs.
A group of 12 states is suing the Trump administration over the president's use of tariffs. It's taking the matter to the U.S. Court of International Trade. President Donald Trump claims he can impose tariffs single-handedly due to the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. It gives the president authority to respond to unusual and extraordinary threats.
We started with the fentanyl border tariffs. The IEPA is also used for the trade deficit.
The lawsuit argues that's an overreach. It notes the Constitution gives Congress the power to collect taxes and duties. U.S. businesses have to pay applicable tariffs on imports. Experts say they often pass on some or all of that expense to consumers in the form of higher prices.
Arizona cannot afford this Trump tax increase. And make no mistake, no matter what Orwellian doublespeak the White House uses, tariffs are taxes.
The lawsuit comes as Trump is warning negotiations during his 90-day pause on so-called reciprocal tariffs might not last 90 days in some cases. He says he might have some rates settled in 2 or 3 weeks.
We're going to have great deals. And by the way, if we don't have a deal with a company or a country, we're going to set the tariff.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
We're just getting started in this hour of CoastTV News today.
Coming up, exciting season opener. Ocean City Springfest begins today. Why vendors say they always look forward to this event.
Also, Fenwick parking price fluctuates. We'll tell you what officials are considering to help people who work at the beach.
But first, protecting pets. The gear local fire crews are now getting thanks to a caring community. All that and more as CoastTV News Today continues.
People love their pets. Many even consider them as part of the family. So when disaster strikes, one neighborhood group wants to make sure first responders have the resources they need to help every member of the household. In this week's Coastal Connections, we introduce you to the animal lovers making that mission possible.
You're a good girl. Very good. We'll do anything for treats, right?
This is Pat Halko and her poodles, Gracie and Candy. Like most pet parents, she spoils them with treats, toys, even what she calls her poodle room. And it's a love that Pat shares with her neighbors, Debbie and Jane, just a few faces from the Peninsula Lakes Animal Lovers Group.
We have donated to Brandywine SPCA, to HAP, and to the ARC monetary donations.
But their latest initiative goes beyond the basics. They're donating life-saving equipment to local fire companies, pet oxygen masks.
Each kit comes complete. There is actually a set of 3 masks, a large, a small, and a medium. They can be used on various species, as we said, dogs, cats, ferrets, birds. Some people may even have a little pygmy pig in their house or something.
The difference between a pet oxygen mask and a human oxygen mask is simply the shape of it. You can see this is the pet oxygen mask, and a dog or cat or any other kind of pet, their snout could fit in here and the oxygen would obviously come through here. Now a human mask is more of a triangle shape, and you could fit a human's nose and mouth in it.
It's something that they have if they need it. Obviously, we wouldn't want them to have to, rely on it.
But the Indian River Fire Company has had to rely on them.
Over the last year, we have had 2 instances, one in Millsboro, where there was a pet involved, and they were successful in resuscitating and bringing the dog back to a process. And the second one was also a successful event.
Indian River Fire President Patrick Miller says the masks made all the difference.
I believe they were beneficial. It certainly gives them the ability to have a better quality of air delivery to their lungs and to their body, as opposed to a nasal cannula or another device that we would have to makeshift.
Now, thanks to the Animal Lovers Group, fire departments in Lewis and Millsboro have their own sets after a recent donation and presentation from Pat and the crew.
They are the lifeline for us, and it's important to support them and give them any help that we can.
Helping those who help us and the pets we love so much. For Coastal Connections, I'm Christina DeRobertis.
Time is 6:16, and you are looking live near the banks of the Choptank River on this Thursday morning in Cambridge. It's one of my favorite cameras, Bob. We're continuing to monitor those wildfires in New Jersey and the smoke making its way here.
It is. That was especially the case yesterday, Matt, with that northeast wind, and you could see the visibility was cut down, that orange haze in the air, and that smell of smoke. And I think we still have that ongoing this morning. Now, the wind's not as strong from the northeast. Here's our future smoke cast, and we can see the deeper orange and red colors through Salisbury. A good chunk of Maryland this morning, hazy and kind of smoky, and there's not going to be a lot of movement with the air. So once again, if you suffer from health problems, you might want to just stay inside for a while in filtered air. We're seeing the worst of this starting to shift to the north and northwest later this morning from Salisbury to the eastern shore. Here's 10:30, then even into parts of Sussex County, hazy and smoky late this morning, and that extends into the eastern shore. By 2 p.m., a good chunk of the eastern shore to the north around Dover and points north are in the haze and smoke. But farther to the south and east across Sussex County around Salisbury, I think we're going to see the air quality improving because the southeast wind will start to scour that out a little bit and push more of that smoke off to the west and north as we go through the evening hours. But with high pressure overhead, it is a chilly start. 42 in Willards, 41 in Salisbury, 43 in Millsboro and Dagsboro, Redden 42, Seaford 45, even 48 in Rehoboth right now, Bethany Beach at 47. As the winds are calm, the skies are clear, and that's why it's so chilly under high pressure, which is essentially right over the top of us right now. We've got some high clouds moving in, and that high will stay over us. That's not a good thing necessarily, because that means more stagnant air and kind of that haze and smoke hanging around. To the south and west, we're looking at clouds and even a few showers across the Tennessee Valley, but high pressure will be hanging tough and keeping us dry. Otherwise, a little smoky and hazy this morning. Temperatures quickly rising through the 60s into the 70s by noon or thereabouts. Mid-70s well inland, cooler 50s and 60s at the coast. By 3:30, around 75 in Georgetown and Delmarva, Millsboro 74. This evening a little cooler, a little bit of cloud cover too, and then through the overnight mainly clear. Another chilly night, not as cold as this morning with temperatures in the upper 40s and lower 50s, and then a good looking Friday on the way. By the afternoon the winds picking up out of the southeast, some clouds increasing, temperatures well into the 70s, well inland, but a little cooler and a little cloudier as you head towards the coast, and then dry but mostly cloudy as we go into Friday evening. And I think we keep it dry into very early Saturday, then increasing rain chances as we go into Saturday. Some of that rain could be heavy and maybe some rumbles of thunder too as a cold front works through. Still kind of wet Saturday evening, and then by Sunday we clear it out and we'll see lots of sunshine and cooler conditions. We could see maybe about a quarter to about 4/10 of an inch of rain. I know it's not the best timing, it's the weekend, but we definitely need the rain, and so does New Jersey. I think they'll see some of that too for the fires. Paul Davis, 7-day forecast, 75 today, and then another cool start Friday morning, 76 Friday, and then Saturday's kind of showery, a little stormy, 75. Another chilly start Sunday and Monday mornings, but we're looking at sunshine both of those days. 60s Sunday, lower 70s Monday, and then warmer Tuesday into Wednesday. Maybe another shower chance as we go into Wednesday.
Thank you, Bob. Happening today, Fenwick Island once again debating parking fees. This is the town's paid parking season begins on May 15th. But instead of a price hike, a proposal's been made to decrease their seasonal pass prices for certain businesses. This is to help employees park closer to where they work, and if approved, employees would only be allowed to use those spots between the hours of 4 and 10 p.m., allowing vacationers to use them during the day to go to the beach. People living in Fenwick Island think it is a great idea.
I think that would be beneficial to both parties. I don't see it being a problem for the evening rush hour.
The Budget and Finance Committee will discuss the proposed change at its meeting today at 2 p.m.
One chain restaurant is officially closed near Lewis. The Bob Evans on Route 1 and Postal Lane shut its doors this week. There's a sign on the door saying it's permanently closed, and the nearest Bob Evans location is in Camden.
Heads up, if you drive in Selbyville, there's a road closure set to go into effect next week. According to DelDOT, the area will undergo roadway reconstruction. Talking about Sound Church Road between Lighthouse Road and Lakeview Drive. DelDOT says work includes adding shoulders. This closure begins May 5th. It's expected to wrap up on May 27th, weather permitting.
In Milford, there's a push to make the city more appealing. There's a proposal on the table to plant wildflowers along medians on Route 113. DelDOT says it is working with the city on that project, but Milford will be responsible for any costs. This includes materials, maintenance, and planting. According to city documents, it could cost more than $10,000.
It will look nice over there, look beautiful over there, but for that price, I don't see the common sense in it. But like I said, life doesn't make sense all the time. So what do?
Some of the flowers that would be planted include black-eyed Susans, mist flowers, and purple clovers.
New this morning, upgrades to playtime in Salisbury. City announcing improvements to Doverdale Playground. Playground equipment will get a facelift. It starts the week of April 30th. Because of the work, the playground area will be closed for at least 2 weeks.
Also in Salisbury, an opportunity to meet future employers. The city says it will hold a job fair this weekend on April 26th. Representatives from multiple different industries will be in attendance, allowing people to network. The job fair takes place at the Newtown Community Center from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Up next, exciting season opener. Why vendors say Ocean City Springfest benefits them and what you can look forward to today. Stay with us on CoastTV News today.
New this morning and starting today at 10 a.m., Ocean City's 34th annual Springfest kicks off, and just like last year, you can expect hundreds of vendors, each selling different and unique items. Also, delicious food and drinks and music flowing throughout the Ocean City Inlet. One vendor who has a dog store right on the boardwalk can't wait to see thousands of people stop by their tent.
This is a really, really good kickoff for the season. We look forward to it all off season, especially this last off season was a little rough with the weather. So we're really looking forward to a good weekend.
And if you want to stop by and enjoy all the fun activities, Springfest will be open between April 24th to April 27th.
Hey, this Friday and Saturday, head over to the Harrington Fairgrounds for the DSN Outdoors Expo. On Friday, the 25th, it's from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. And on Saturday, the 26th, it'll start at 10 a.m. and it'll eventually wrap up at 4 p.m.
Matt Inland Bob is predicting 75 and sunny. I know you like the sound of that.
I do. It's that Joe Nichols song. It's a great one. If you know, you know. Though we might not get 70s along the coast. Could it be? But, you know, hey, if you're taking a walk or a jog, that's probably some comfortable.
But you live inland, so.
I do, but a man can dream.
It's true.
That's the place to be, inland, if you want the temperatures in the 70s. And I'm glad Matt got his song weather today. Beach forecast, Chincoteague, yeah, you're not going to be 75, more like 63 or low to mid 60s. Partly cloudy skies, some haze and smoke, especially this morning. Similar conditions for Assateague with temperatures near 60 for you after a chilly start. UV index is moderate today. Fenwick Island, mid 60s there. A little bit of haze and smoke this morning. In Ocean City, much cooler for you with highs only into the low 60s. On the bay side, waves only 1 foot, and I think you will see some smoke and haze here, especially until the noon hour. With mid-70s today, mid-70s through the weekend, shower and storm chances increase in Cambridge on Saturday, and similar conditions in Crisfield. Saturday, the wet day, but Sunday, the better of the 2 weekend days. Much more in your forecast coming up in the next half hour.
After the break on Coast TV News today, dispensary debate how one Ocean City business plans to fight back after initial denial.
Also, clear space conversation. What 2 Sussex County cities are considering regarding the one popular theater.
And crews continue to fight fire. We'll tell you the status of the New Jersey wildfire as we can feel the effects right here on Delmarva. Coast TV News today. We'll be right back.
Now on Coast TV News.
Smoky skies are possible once again today due to the New Jersey wildfires. Dry and pleasant the rest of the week with rain for a part of the weekend. I'll track the smoke and the rain on Futurecasts coming up next.
Emergency escalation. What is preventing crews across the Delaware Bay and getting the wildfire under control?
Cannabis clash, why one group says they have state law on their side in the attempt to overturn the denial of a marijuana business application.
Performing arts options. When once there were none, now the Clear Space Theater could have 2 plans for a new facility.
This is Coast TV News Today.
April 24th, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
Time is 6:30. Cap fans
Yes.
rocking the red again. Your new favorite hockey team looking good last night.
After all the excitement over Ovechkin watch, I was like, you know what? I don't have a hockey team. I'll root for them in the playoffs. It's going pretty well right now.
Hopped on the bandwagon at the right time.
I know. I'm pretty proud of that. Well, first meteorologist Bob Trahey is a hockey fan, but we're not going to talk hockey with Bob.
No, maybe I'll jump on your bandwagon, Lisa, for the Caps. But no, they're looking good so far. And I tell you what, it feels like hockey weather out there. Not frosty, but look at these temperatures in the low 40s all over the place. 41 in Salisbury, 42 in Willards, Gumboro, Dagsboro, Millsboro. You're at 43. Bridgeville, 44. A little milder at the beaches, 53 in Lewis, and Ocean City, 53. But it is chilly thanks to calm conditions, high pressure over the top of us, providing clear and quiet conditions, but also poor air quality. Anything that is in the air, like smoke and haze, is going to get trapped under this high, and I am concerned about the smoke. Here is future smoke on Futurecast, and you can see how the smoke and haze evolves through Salisbury, parts of the Eastern Shore, and parts of Sussex County as we go through the morning hours. So that sky will take on an orange tint, and the visibility might be cut down for a while as we go through the morning hours. By afternoon, that smoke and haze across the Eastern Shore and farther to the north. I think we'll see a southeasterly breeze kicking in, starting to mix up the atmosphere and mix out that smoke and haze, and it'll start to push it farther to the west as we go through the evening hours. But kind of smoky and chilly off to school for the kiddos, and hazy. Watch for the limited visibility, and you see that little stop sign pop out. Make sure you stop for the bus and the kids. 46 off to school, 76 heading home, dry and mild, and I think better air quality at that time.
And our top story this half hour, as Bob mentioned, New Jersey fire crews continue to battle a wildfire burning in Ocean County. In Milton, where our station is located, you could smell and see the haze from that smoke yesterday afternoon. The Jones Road fire sparked shortly before 12:30 p.m. on Tuesday at the Greenwood Forest Wildlife Management Area. So far, one commercial structure has been destroyed, along with a number of smaller cabin vehicles. And officials said no injuries have been reported and evacuations are 100% lifted, but the cause of that fire remains under investigation.
An update in Lewis. We should learn more about the plans for bringing the Clear Space Theater into the city. There's been interest on both sides ever since the Rehoboth Beach-based theater withdrew a request to build a new facility on Rehoboth Avenue. That was after some backlash from neighbors. This morning, Lewis Mayor Andrew Williams and the City Council are scheduled to go over a market study on bringing the theater to Lewis.
And we are still awaiting the next steps in Rehoboth Beach's plans for the Clear Space Theater. Last month, officials revealed attempts to keep that theater in the city. It calls for construction of a new performing arts center on Christian Street with a $1 million contribution coming from Rehoboth Beach. The plot of land is currently leased to the Cape Henlopen Senior.
Happening tonight in Ocean City, the appeal of a marijuana dispensary application that was denied last month. Back then, the town's Planning and Zoning Commission stated the business would be too close to areas zoned as residential. It was planned for the 2100 block of Philadelphia Avenue. The leaseholder, Mike Ramadan, and the dispensary leaseholder, Sharif Shatta, are pushing back on that. They're claiming a state law establishing zoning requirements should allow them to open the business. A public hearing is scheduled at 6 p.m.
Developing news in Delaware. Delaware Attorney General Kathy Jennings is joining 11 other attorney generals in a lawsuit against the Trump administration. This is over what they say are illegal tariffs. It's important to note that Maryland nor Virginia has joined that lawsuit. According to Jennings' office, in 2024, Delaware imported over $10 billion worth of goods and exported almost $5 billion worth. Local companies such as Mount Air have already felt the impacts of these tariffs.
Now we're taking a live look at Washington, D.C., White House in the middle of your screen. It's where officials are beginning to react to a lawsuit. The president claims he can impose tariffs single-handedly due to the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. It gives the president authority to respond to unusual and extraordinary threats. The lawsuit argues his use of that law is an overreach. It notes the Constitution gives Congress the power to collect taxes and duties.
We started with the fentanyl border tariffs. The IEPA is also used for the trade deficit.
The president has absolutely no legal authority to issue these tariffs.
Lawsuit claims, as Trump says, comes as negotiations during his 90-day pause on what he calls reciprocal tariffs that might not last the full 90 days.
Today, tens of thousands are again expected to fill St. Peter's Square as the public gets the chance to say goodbye to Pope Francis. His body will lie inside the historic St. Peter's Basilica through Friday evening.
NBC's Jay Gray shows us what many Catholics are now looking for in the new leader of their church.
The line stretching from St. Peter's Basilica winds through and around its famous square, thousands waiting for hours to spend just a few seconds inside.
Walking in, it's such a surreal place, and it's very holy, and seeing the body and just remembering everything that he stood for is very important.
Important for so many, remembering the humility, kindness, and commitment to the less fortunate and disenfranchised, they say, defined Pope Francis.
He's somebody very close to our hearts, somebody who made the church very accessible to everybody and inclusive to everybody, and like a family member for us, yeah.
For his church family, specifically 135 Catholic cardinals, his passing brings with it the difficult responsibility of deciding who among them will take his place.
We have to wait to pray and to have our meetings, and then afterwards we decide.
Those meetings, the highly secretive conclave behind the locked doors of the Sistine Chapel. Many here hopeful they will elect a new pope who will continue the mission and message of his predecessor.
And he taught us all how to be Christians and to be human. And we want Pope Francis II now.
As they honor the original. Jay Gray, NBC News, at the Vatican.
We have more news to get to in this final half hour. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, Home Business Debate will tell you when you can learn about the status of one proposed ordinance that's receiving mixed opinions.
Also heading to Montreal with momentum that Caps take care of business on home ice as the playoff scene moves north of the border.
And Bethany Bike Safety will tell you how town officials will plan for the busy summer season. Stay with us on Coast TV News Today.
6:40 on this gorgeous Thursday morning, seeing a gorgeous sunrise on the Tyndall's Casual Furniture Cam. 43. It's cold. That sun's going to take the edge off the chill pretty quickly this morning. But lower 40s from Salisbury to Milton to Dagsboro and Bridgeville. Pretty chilly out there at the beaches. We're in the 40s and 50s right now, so bundle up, warm up the car. It's calm and clear and cool under high pressure. But once again, under that high, the air is stagnant, and we still have haze and smoke we have to worry about, especially as we go through the morning hours. So if you suffer from those health problems, it's best to stay inside in filtered air today. And if you're out driving, I gave it the yellow light for the morning commute because it will be smoky and hazy with limited visibility at times. But I think the air quality improves for the afternoon and evening commute with temperatures in the 60s and 70s. In case you missed it earlier, Aurea Nazamento from Ocean View is our winner of the umbrella today, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling and Coast TV.
Thank you, Bob. New this morning in Bethany Beach, bike safety takes center stage. According to the agenda, town officials will learn about safe speed from a guest speaker today. Officials will also plan for the busy summer season and discuss a traffic report. All of this is taking place at the Bike and Pedestrian Safety Committee meeting at 10 a.m. And happening today in Delaware, a group called Action for Delaware's Children is pushing for more protection from lead poisoning. They're hosting a public forum focused on some pending legislation in the General Assembly that would require landlords to make rentals safer for children. This includes considering the possible exposure to lead-based paint and its impact. People can attend that forum at the Dover Public Library at 6 p.m.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
So far, the Battle of the Beltway belongs to the Nationals. The Nats have taken the first two games from the Orioles this year. Last night, James Wood got Washington off to a fast start with his 8th homer of the season. He's just the 9th player in Major League history, aged 22 or younger, with 8 jacks in a season before May 1st. Josh Bell also went deep for Washington. The Nats improved to 11-13 on the year. Baltimore drops to 9-14. The series finale is tonight at 6:45. And here on Delmarva, very excited for the premiere of Into the Trenches, a new voyage tonight at 7:30. Here's a preview of our exclusive docu-series on the Cape Henlopen football program.
The late run last season, and then trying to explain that we're a different team.
You got to work harder because you went to the state chip, because there's a target on your head.
Understanding the stresses that these kids are under it's a little bit unique for me.
The expectations are high.
You're gonna practice the way you play.
We can push even further this year and hopefully make a run for it again.
Into the Trenches, a new voyage. April 24th at 7:30 on the Delmarva Sports Network and DSN+. Sponsored by Preston Automotive.
And tonight, ahead of the NFL draft, head on over to DSN to watch Kayla Santiago's conversation with former Penn State coach Jay Paterno. The Nittany Lions have 2 players projected to hear their names called in the top 15. The draft airs tonight on ESPN at 8. Now do for sports.
Looking forward to that, and coming up tonight on DSN at 4, we have high school softball border battle when Delmar hosts Mardella at 7:30. You just saw it right there, the premiere of Season 3 Into the Trenches, and at 10:30 we got the final score. On the DSN Plus app at 4, you get the Delmar Mardella softball game, along with these exclusives. At 4, Bayside Conference softball when Cambridge South Dorchester hosts Easton. 4:15, Henlopen Conference baseball. Cape visits Laurel. Also at that time, you have Sussex Central and Lake Forest in girls soccer. We've been talking about it for a while now. Into the Trenches back for its 3rd season. This year, we follow the Cape Henlopen Vikings football team fresh off their first state championship appearance in 40 years. Into the Trenches, 7:30 on DSN and DSN+. Last night in the district, Dylan Strome's second period goal broke a 1-1 tie for the Capitals. Caps would go on to win 3-1. They take a 2-0 lead in the first round playoff series against the Canadians. Here's the guy with what ended up being the game-winning goal.
I was trying to put the first one in and it didn't go in, and luckily, like I said, pretty lucky play just goes right back to me, and that was a great play by O to change for Lenny and kind of do a quick up there, and then that was a great play by those guys.
A big challenge for the Caps in Game 3. It'll be the first Canadians' home playoff game in Montreal since 2017, so there'll be plenty of energy expected there. Drop of the puck set on April 26th, just after 7 p.m.
And here's what's coming up this afternoon on Coast Life at 4.
No, we're getting closer and closer to the weekend, but we're not there yet. First, you got to join us for some more Coast Life, where we're going to be showing off a new model home for a new Shaw Brothers community.
Plus, we travel to the surface of the sun for some hot tea about this one as we spill tea. It has to do with social media and X and adding them. Okay, not okay, we're going to debate it.
Oh yeah, we will talk about that. We're also going to talk about some art classes that you can take. Maybe you've been trying to get back in touch with that creative side. We've got some of the best opportunities for you to do that. All that fun and more is coming up today at 4 on Coast Life. We will see you then.
It's a calm and chilly start on this Thursday morning. 41 in Salisbury on the Tidal Health Cam. You're going to see some smoke and haze today. A good chunk of Delmarva will see that too. And then I think the smoky conditions will improve as we go into later today. Then dry and mild the rest of the week. Then a wet start to the weekend. I'll track it on Futurecast and have your DSN Outdoors Expo forecast in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
48, and we are taking a live look outside at Ocean View this morning. And Bob, I'm not seeing as much sun there. I was hoping for a really pretty sunrise there, but I know today it's a little bit cooler. When we walked out the door, I think everyone's wondering who's attending that DSN Outdoor Expo, what the weather's going to be like for Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, it looks like a 50-50 proposition for the DSN Outdoors Expo, Elisa. And I think the reason that we're not seeing a lot of sun in that gutter helmet cam is because of the haze and smoke in the atmosphere. More on that coming up. But it's day one of the Outdoors Expos. We head into Friday beginning at 3 p.m. And I think we're looking great tomorrow. A mix of sun and clouds up in Harrington. Mid-70s in the afternoon. Southeast wind will keep the smoke away. Then we're cooling into the 60s with fair skies as we go into the evening. And then day two, not so nice. That begins 10 a.m., the Outdoors Expo, and we're looking at some showers there, on and off showers, maybe a rumble of thunder too into the afternoon. So make sure you bring your rain gear to Harrington for the Outdoors Expo on Saturday. But let's talk about the smoke. This is Futurecast indicating the smoke that's coming in from those fires along the coast in New Jersey or central New Jersey in Ocean County. And we're seeing some of that thicker smoke making its way into southern Sussex County. It's Wycomico, into the eastern shore as well as we go into the latter part of the morning. Seaford, eastern shore, also in the haze and smoke. So if you suffer from health problems, it's best to stay inside in filtered air through today, as the eastern shore and then areas to the north will be experiencing the smoke and haze by 4:30. Then we're seeing more in the way of improving conditions with a southeasterly flow, and that will scour out the smoke later on. We're looking at chilly temperatures this morning in the low to mid 40s inland areas, and then 40s to low 50s at the beaches. So make sure you bundle up. Calm conditions under high pressure with clear skies. Once again, we're seeing that smoke and haze kind of trapped under this ridge of high pressure across the East Coast. We'll see some high clouds building in. Some showers off to our south and west, but those will be staying there. We're going to stay dry. We're just concerned about air quality this morning with the smoke and haze as temperatures warming in through the 50s and 60s. By the noon hour, 60s and low 70s across the inland areas with 50s and 60s at the coast. And then I think into the afternoon, mid-70s from Salisbury to Georgetown, but cooler at the beaches. And if you're headed out this evening, 50s and 60s, pretty pleasant conditions. Another chilly start Friday morning with 40s and low 50s. And then Friday is a good-looking day. I think we increase the clouds in the afternoon with mid to upper 70s inland with the southeast breeze and a little cooler at the coast. We keep it dry until about midnight Saturday and early Saturday. And then I think we start to see showers building in as the front heads our way. Some of those showers could be heavy and maybe some rumbles of thunder into Saturday evening, and then that clears the coast by very early Sunday, and Sunday is clear and drier and cooler too. So we salvage part of the weekend, and it looks like the rain totals have come down with this model, maybe a 1/10 of an inch or a little more. I think maybe closer to a 1/4 inch to maybe 3/10 of an inch with this system. Paul Davis, 7-day forecast, mid-70s today right through Saturday, dry today and tomorrow with the showers and storms Saturday, sunshine on Sunday 68, then mild into next week with another shower chance Wednesday and a high of 84.
Thank you, Bob. The debate over home-based businesses in Lewis continues today. At a special meeting, the Planning Commission will present an update on an ordinance that would allow these types of businesses. One woman who wants to run a dog grooming business in her Lewis basement sparked the Lewis Planning Commission to create a specific subcommittee. That subcommittee is currently reassessing all of its regulations in the growing city. Some locals think it's a good idea to a certain extent.
They want to keep their house. They don't want to be homeless. So they figure out a way, something that they're good at, something that they really enjoy, and they can make a business out of it. And they ought to be given the opportunity to do that.
And that meeting takes place this morning at 10 a.m. And the time is now 6:52, so we're going to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
And today's Coastal Pet of the Day comes to us from the Brandywine Valley SPCA. Check out Stu, everybody. Stu is very playful, loves to go on walks, loves plenty of attention. Overall, got a very sweet boy we're talking about. If you want to adopt Stu or any other lovable pet, you can head on over to the Brandywine Valley SPCA.
And we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen.
If you do that, you can scan the QR code. That way you can get your friends to us here. Love to see your pictures, everybody. And then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
It is 6:55 and it's time for the things you need to know before you go. Possible action on development plans for this plot of land you see on your screen right now. You are looking at the location of the proposed overfall preserve site off of Savannah Road in Lewis. The mayor and city council could take action on the proposal at a special meeting this morning. Council meets at 10 a.m.
Got some debate over home-based businesses in Lewis. It's continuing today. Special meeting with the Planning Commission. They're going to present an update on an ordinance that would allow those types of businesses. One woman who wants to run a dog grooming business in her basement sparked the Planning Commission to create a specific subcommittee. That subcommittee currently reassessing all of its regulations.
And it's 6:56, so we're going to take another look at your Thursday forecast.
Bob, we could experience some smoke and haze in the morning.
Yeah, we were talking about that Deep Purple song, Smoke on the Water. Great garage band song. Yeah, that's what we're looking at from the wildfires in New Jersey. Looking at the haze and smoke, I think, this morning into a part of the afternoon. If you suffer from health problems, stay in air conditioning today. I think conditions improve into the afternoon. We're starting out chilly with temperatures in the 40s, a mix of sun and clouds. And I think with the strengthening southeast wind this afternoon, that will start to scour out some of the smoke and haze and push it to the northwest with highs in the mid-70s, inland areas, a little cooler at the beaches. Here's your Paul Davis restoration and home remodeling 10-day forecast. Mid-70s through Friday with partly cloudy skies. We keep it dry. And then Saturday's looking a little wet and a little thundery too. So day 2, the DSN Outdoors Expo. Make sure you have the rain gear. 75. And then it cools down a little bit into Sunday and Monday mornings with lows in the 40s, upper 60s to 70s with sunshine into early next week. Another shower chance middle of next week, but mid-80s. We keep it mild through the end of the week. Maybe another shower chance by Friday. And maybe a little cooler into next weekend. But all in all, not a lot of rain, just the one day on Saturday for the next several.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News today.
And the Today Show is coming up next at 7 a.m.
Then we'll be back for Coast TV News midday at 11.
And even for more, get that one out. And for more coverage, you can count on download our Coast TV News and weather apps. Have a great morning, everybody.